The Venezuelan immigration crisis presents a complex and urgent challenge for the United States, one that cannot be ignored. The mass exodus of Venezuelans fleeing economic collapse and political turmoil has created ripple effects across the region, particularly at the U.S. Mexico border, where the situation is becoming increasingly dire. This humanitarian crisis demands a careful and considered response, one that balances the need for border security with the obligation to provide refuge to those in desperate need. The challenge is to find a solution that is both compassionate and practical. The stakes are high, and the choices made by U.S. policymakers will have far-reaching consequences, not just for the United States, but for the entire region. The sheer scale of the crisis is staggering, with no end in sight. Over 7 million Venezuelans, nearly a quarter of the population, have fled their homeland in recent years, seeking safety and stability elsewhere. This exodus, driven by hyperinflation, food shortages, and political repression, has created immense pressure on neighboring countries, particularly Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador, which are struggling to cope with the influx. The United States, long a beacon of hope for those seeking a better life, has become an increasingly popular destination for Venezuelan migrants. The challenge now is to manage this influx in a way that upholds American values while addressing practical concerns.
The journey north is fraught with peril, filled with countless obstacles and dangers. Venezuelan migrants often face dangerous conditions, extortion by criminal gangs, and the constant threat of violence. They are also vulnerable to exploitation by human traffickers who prey on their desperation. Many arrive at the U.S. border exhausted, traumatized, and with only the clothes on their backs, having endured unimaginable hardships. They carry with them stories of hardship, loss, and the desperate hope for a brighter future, clinging to memories of loved ones left behind. Their plight is a testament to the human cost of the crisis in Venezuela, a crisis that has displaced millions. The decision to leave everything behind is never an easy one, filled with heart-wrenching goodbyes and uncertain futures. Venezuelan migrants are often forced to choose between staying in a country where survival is a daily struggle, with scarce resources and rampant insecurity, and embarking on a perilous journey in search of safety and opportunity, navigating treacherous terrains and hostile environments. Many leave behind loved ones, homes, and careers, driven by the belief that a better life awaits them elsewhere despite the risks. They arrive in new cities with hope in their eyes, believing in the promise of a fresh start and new opportunities. Their resilience and determination in the face of adversity are a testament to the human spirit, showcasing the strength and courage of those who seek a better life.
The Trump administration adopted a hardline approach to immigration, characterized by strict enforcement measures and a focus on deterring illegal entry. The administration implemented a number of policies aimed at stemming the flow of migrants from Central America and Venezuela, including the Migrant Protection Protocols, also known as the Remain in Mexico policy, which required asylum seekers to wait in Mexico while their cases were processed in U.S. courts. The Trump administration also pursued the construction of a wall along the U.S. Mexico border, arguing that it was necessary to deter illegal immigration and drug trafficking. These policies were met with mixed reactions, with supporters praising the administration's tough stance on immigration and critics condemning the policies as inhumane and ineffective. The debate over immigration policy became increasingly polarized during the Trump era, reflecting deep divisions within American society.
Section 4. The Biden administration, seeking solutions south of the border. The Biden administration took a different tack, pledging to reverse many of the Trump administration's immigration policies and adopt a more humane approach. The Biden administration ended the Remain in Mexico policy and halted construction of the border wall. However, the administration has faced challenges in implementing its agenda, including a surge in migrants arriving at the southern border and legal challenges from Republican-led states. The Biden administration has also focused on addressing the root causes of migration from Central America, such as poverty, violence, and corruption. The administration has pledged to increase aid to the region and work with governments to improve economic opportunities and strengthen the rule of law. Whether these efforts will be enough to stem the flow of migrants to the United States remains to be seen.
Section 5. Mexico, caught in the crosshairs. Mexico has found itself caught in the middle of the U.S. immigration debate. The country has become a major transit point for migrants from Central America and Venezuela heading to the United States. The Mexican government has faced pressure from the United States to do more to stem the flow of migrants, while also grappling with its own domestic challenges related to migration. The Mexican government has deployed troops to its southern border with Guatemala to try to deter migrants from entering the country. Mexico has also agreed to accept the return of migrants from the United States who were subject to the Remain in Mexico policy. The Mexican government has called for a regional approach to addressing migration, arguing that the issue cannot be solved by any one country alone.
Section 6. A tale of two approaches. Enforcement versus engagement. The contrasting approaches of the Trump and Biden administrations highlight the complex challenges of managing migration. Each administration has faced the daunting task of balancing security with humanitarian concerns. The Trump administration's focus on enforcement and deterrence may have had some impact on reducing illegal crossings, implementing strict policies, and building physical barriers to prevent entry. However, it also drew significant criticism for its human costs, including family separations and the conditions in detention centers, and its failure to address the root causes of migration, such as violence and poverty in home countries. The Biden administration's emphasis on diplomacy and engagement with Central American countries offers a potential path to addressing the underlying drivers of migration. This approach includes providing aid and support to improve conditions in migrants' home countries. But it remains to be seen whether this approach will be successful in reducing the number of migrants arriving at the U.S. border. The effectiveness of these diplomatic efforts will take time to evaluate. The debate over immigration policy is likely to continue for the foreseeable future. Lawmakers and citizens alike are deeply divided on the best path forward. The United States must balance its tradition of welcoming immigrants with the need to manage its borders effectively. This balance is crucial to maintaining both national security and the country's identity as a land of opportunity. Finding a solution that is both humane and effective will require a comprehensive approach that addresses both the symptoms and the root causes of migration. This means not only securing the border, but also fostering international cooperation and supporting communities both domestically and abroad.